Good morning and welcome back to Forest Velo. So here in the UK, autumn has definitely hit. We've had lots of rain, flooded roads already, and a lot of mud about. And winter is on its way. But if you want to keep riding in the winter and not necessarily go inside on the turbo or trainer or stop riding altogether, there are some things you can do to make your winter riding more successful and safer. So keep watching the video to find out what those things are.
Okay, so the first thing you need for winter riding is some good clothing, starting with tights to make sure you've got nice warm legs through the ride. Another thing is a winter jacket, something that's windproof and maybe waterproof as well, like the Castelli Perfetto. If you don't like wearing black, you can always change colour. So if you don't like black, you could get something more fluorescent so you're really visible to traffic. If you haven't got a jacket like this, you can always get a gilet. So you could be using a gilet like this, which is quite reflective but also pretty bright in dark conditions. And another thing, of course, you need is a waterproof jacket, whether it's a really lightweight jacket like this or something more like this, which is a waterproof that's really for wearing all day. It's got some thermal qualities too, so it's going to keep you warm as well as dry. And of course, another thing that's really going to make your riding more comfortable is wearing overshoes, because with overshoes you'll hopefully have dry feet, but even with overshoes your feet can get wet, so try to get the best overshoes you can. Another thing which you need, of course, is mudguards. Mudguards are going to make your riding much more comfortable. You'll be far less wet and your bike's going to be far less messy.
Another thing you can do to keep yourself safe is to make sure you've got lights. Having lights is going to make sure you can see where you're going, and more importantly, or as importantly, make sure you can be seen when it gets darker in those gloomy conditions. Another thing to remember to do when you're out riding in the winter is to make sure you keep fueling and drinking. It's very easy to get dehydrated in the winter because you're colder and you don't feel thirsty, but your body is actually still using a lot of water. Another thing to do when you're out on a ride in the winter when it's cold is planning a coffee stop, something to aim for, especially if it's like the furthest point of your ride, or even on the way home a bit. Gives you that incentive to keep going, to get to that coffee stop and enjoy that nice warm cup of coffee. And talking of coffee stops, one thing you could do as well is have an insulated bottle and make sure you take a warm drink with you rather than a cold one. That might help you through those hard spots on those cold winter days. Another thing with winter riding that's going to help is having less punctures. So you can either make sure you've got sort of winter weight tyres, which generally are a bit thicker and a bit more hard wearing, or maybe go tubeless. You're more likely to get punctures of small flints and things like that in dirty roads in the winter. So having tubeless could stop you having to do that tyre change or tube change mid-ride when your hands are freezing or it's raining. So remember to choose a decent set of tyres and make sure yours are up to scratch. And lastly, in the winter, you're going to need to make sure you're cleaning and servicing your bike more often. It is going to get muddy, the chain is going to get covered in muck and grit, and the more you clean it and the more you look after it, the better your rides will be. Nobody wants to stop mid-ride because you've had some mechanical, because you haven't been keeping your bike in good nick. So try to make sure you keep on top of the cleaning. It is annoying, it is boring, but it's a necessity in the winter. In the summer you can go weeks without really cleaning your bike. In the winter, not so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. What do you do to keep riding in the winter? Or do you keep riding in the winter? Don't forget to drop it in the comments below. And until next time, bye for now.